Hey, Motorman here. If you just wandered on this channel by accident, well, I've been on YouTube since 2006. I'm a motor officer instructor, and I'm the maker of the Ride Like a Pro video and the book by the same name. And today we're going to talk about, you went through the beginner's course, maybe it was Rider's Edge or MSF, whatever it may be, and you got your motorcycle license. And it doesn't say anything on that license about what size motorcycle you should buy, so you should be ready for the biggest, baddest bike you could find, right? Well, we're going to find out. Stay tuned. We're going to focus on just this one rider you see with the white shirt on the electric glide. And as you can see here, he's going way too slow. Of course, the motorcycle tips over as soon as he attempts to make a turn. This rider told me he's had this bike for about a year. He's ridden 10,000 miles on it. Now, he went through the Rider's Edge course, where they give you the basics, and after they finish the course, they tell you you need to keep practicing. They don't tell you to get the biggest, heaviest bike you could find, but that's sort of what this rider did. And I'm betting, at least by what I can see here, he's never practiced anything that he learned in that basic course, because he can't ride in the friction zone. He's got the clutch fully engaged, and that means he's going too fast for his skill level. He misses the pivot point where that gentleman is standing with the white shirt on and pointing to the pivot point. He misses that completely, turns his head after he passes through the U-turn area, and that U-turn is about 30 feet wide. Here I'm riding him through the exercise, and I'm explaining to him exactly what I'm doing as I go along so that he would get the feel of what the motorcycle should be doing. Sometimes that works. I often give it a try. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm willing to try anything. Let's watch him again. Again, he's got his clutch just about fully engaged, so he's actually going a little bit too fast. And again, does not turn his head, and he's going too fast to make that U-turn. Now, had he turned his head quickly, he could have made that. Even at the speed he was going, the bike could have made it, but his skill level won't allow him to do it. Here he tries it, and at the very end pulls in the clutch, no power to the rear wheel, the motorcycle tips over. Got to keep power going to that rear wheel. At this point, we've been working on this exercise for about 45 minutes to an hour. And as you can see, he's dipping the bike fairly well, but because he has the clutch all the way out and doesn't turn his head, he goes out of the exercise again. If that was out on the street and he was trying to make a curve, he'd have run right off the road. Everything we do here is about avoiding obstacles and using technique, the three of them: head and eyes, friction zone, little pressure on the rear brake. These are all the things you need for low-speed maneuvering of just about any motorcycle, but especially heavyweight motorcycles. In the beginner course, they're using small motorcycles where even if you're just using tiny bit of technique, you can get through it and actually get your license. But as you can see, that's not going to help him when he moves up to a 900-pound motorcycle. Again, he looks straight and he goes straight. Got to turn your head fast and far. You should know that age is not a factor in this incident. This rider is early 50s, I'd say, in good physical condition, has no problem picking up the bike. He just has a problem turning his head and eyes and putting the techniques together, especially using that friction zone. Once that clutch is fully engaged, the slightest movement of the throttle causes the bike to leap straight ahead. And since he's got the clutch fully engaged almost all the time, he's constantly having the same problem. Not being able to turn the motorcycle or have the motorcycle react to what he actually wants to do. If you give the motorcycle the proper commands, it will respond. But if you have that clutch out all the way and you don't turn your head and you have virtually no pressure on the rear brake, your turns are gigantic, as you see here. This exercise, the offset cone weave, is a series of quick left to right turns and right to left. If you don't turn your head and eyes quickly, you'll never make it through, as we see here. He's actually skipping some of the gates. The area between the two cones there is, we call it a gate because you pass through it. Since he doesn't turn his head and eyes and look back to the left, he couldn't make that gate. He actually skips it and skips the last gate as well. So he's looking straight, the motorcycle goes straight. Again, we can see here, he makes it into the first gate. Now he tries to make the second gate, but he looks straight. Well, your hands follow your eyes. You look straight, you go straight. His turns are huge. If this is a winding mountain road, he would have run off the road. No matter what I told him, he would not turn his head and eyes. And this is fairly common. He gives up after the third gate and decides to give it another try. But that is a problem. When you can't turn your head and eyes, since the hands follow the eyes, the motorcycle will not react. You look straight, the bike will go straight every time. Now you can't see this from the drone view, but I took a smaller green cone and put it 8 feet outside the big orange cone. That gives him a lot more time to turn his head and eyes and to turn the handlebars. He makes it through that first gate, but then he gets to the outside cone. That's okay so far. And instead of turning his head quickly to the left, he hesitates, looks straight. Motorcycle goes straight. Can't get inside that gate. Let's see if he gets back. Yes, he makes it inside the small green cone. You can't see it here on the video, but then he doesn't turn his head fast enough to get inside the next gate. So again, his turns are way too big. The idea of this exercise is to feel the bike transition quickly from extreme left to extreme right. But if you don't turn your head and eyes, you won't get that feeling. We've now moved on to the intersection, and we'll see how he does through here. This rider has got a real good handle on the techniques. He's using his head and eyes, the friction zone, little pressure on the rear brake, and as you can see, it works perfectly. Same thing with this rider. Much better handle on the friction zone, head and eyes. Not perfect, goes a little wide there, but he does have a good handle and he's able to stay within the cones. But again, here comes our favorite rider. Doesn't turn his head fast enough and he goes outside the cones. Goes over the imaginary double yellow line, looks straight, goes straight right out of the exercise. Here I'm having one of my instructors lead him through the intersection, and all he has to do is look at the instructor the entire time, because wherever the instructor is, that's where he needs to be a split second later. I'm having her make wide turns as well, but it helped a little bit, but not as much as I hoped it would. The good thing about this rider, there's no quit in this guy. He dropped his bike a few times, picked it up, and kept on going. If he just practices on his own and comes back maybe for a one-on-one lesson with my Sportster, I think he'll get it. Till next time.